and that's going to go in.
Are you looking to play at the next level? MSN is now offering player recruitment videos. We are excited to partner with you and your family in getting you to the next level. To learn more about our packages and what we offer, head over to the MichiganSoccerNetwork.com. Remember, your journey starts with a click.
My dad and my grandfather are officials. I've grown up around officials and seeing how much they enjoy being part of the games. As a student athlete, I've always appreciated the people out there who are willing to give back to the kids. The Legacy program lets me officiate while I'm still in high school, working younger kids' games. Officiating gives me a better understanding of the game. I get to make some pretty good money for a high school kid, and I even get to spend some quality time with my dad. There's help wanted. Just whistle.
Sacker down by the end line. Puts us across. Lose your eye! And just like that, 1-1. Now Elders may look to take a shot. He does, and he buries it! Steps up, and just like that, Reed Dennis comes up big. Lose your eye, one-on-one. Lose your eye. Oh, he'll be taken down inside the box.
Knocked back in. Nationals got it. Bicycle kick for a goal!
Now Sacker. Sacker into the 18. Sacker shot. That goes off the goalkeeper's glove into the net. 2-1 here in the 32nd. This one played in. That's a good ball. That one goes in. And just like that, the Nationals now have a 1-0 lead. Walensky puts his far post. One-touch opportunity. And what a great goal that was.
Joaquin Beatty of Ohio League.
Look at that shot from Sevi Roy. My goodness, Sevi Roy with a left-footed banger.
We are the MHSAA, a collection of 750 high schools and 750 middle schools, from Temperance to Copper Harbor, from New Buffalo to Alpena. Each year, more than 250,000 students play one of our 28 sports. More than 1.5 million fans attend our postseason games. There are 30,000 coaches and 8,000 officials, not to mention all of the volunteers. The MHSAA believes in the 4 S's. School sports should be safe and kept in the appropriate scope. We believe nothing beats great sportsmanship, and that scholarship in the classroom is more important than excellence on the field or court. Most of all, we believe school sports should be fun. So come out and join us at a game. Support your school, support your community, and come see what the excitement is all about.
Michigan student athletes, the Student Advisory Council's role
is to convey the message of how high school sports are supposed to be played.
We are responsible for helping the MHSAA maintain a positive and healthy atmosphere
in which interscholastic students can thrive.
We believe athletes should be competitive,
sportsmanlike, and excel academically.
We believe students in the stands should have fun,
but not take the focus away from the game. We believe coaches should act as teachers,
helping student athletes develop while still keeping high school sports in perspective.
We believe that parents should always be positive role models
and be supportive of their child's decisions.
We believe officials commit their own time to high school sports.
And respect should always be shown and given to them.
The most important goal for student athletes is to enjoy high school sports
while maintaining a high level of respect for all those involved in the games.
Enjoy the game.
Are you looking to take your game to the next level? Did you know that MSN is now offering player recruitment videos? Our packages include a player profile where you show your preferred positions, the club, the league, or school that you play in, your current coach contact information, and more. The highlight videos could be self-submitted, 15 to 30 clips that will be put into a 3 to 7 minute long video. Video review of your Huddle, VO, or other platforms that you might have video on, as well as for an additional charge, MSN can come out and film games for you to create those clips. Our coach evaluation process, which is also an additional charge, where we have college coaches from various levels across the United States that will review your game film and provide feedback on how to improve that film, as well as also evaluating your play and what you can improve on. To learn more about our packages and what we offer, head over to the MichiganSoccerNetwork.com. Remember, your journey starts with a click.
Our mission is to help players take their game to the next level and reach their potential. Not only do we help develop fundamental technical skills such as ball control in tight spaces with different surfaces, dribbling at speed and changing direction, using a variety of 1v1 skills to create space, receiving on a half turn, hook turn, and out of the air, finishing off the dribbling, one-touch, volleys, and headers. We help players get comfortable performing these skills at game speed, with pressure, and with both their dominant and non-dominant foot. In addition, we help players with their speed of play, awareness of space, defenders, and teammates, and also dominate with our off-the-ball movement. We offer a variety of services such as one-on-ones, small groups, large groups, as well as team sessions. We have an experienced coaching staff that is professional, friendly, patient, while still holding players to high standards and holding them accountable. No matter what level you're at as a player, I'm confident we can help you get better. Over the past 3 years, we've built one of the best soccer-specific training facilities in the country and developed one of the most detail-oriented programs to help out players. Visit our website.
What rhymes with great?
participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom.
On the diamond.
In the pool. On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah!
Be great.
Participate!
Granite City Food and Brewery has 2 Michigan locations in Troy and Northville. Serves made-from-scratch food, brews in-house beer, and even has brunch every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. To learn more about their daily specials or to book a private party, visit gcfb.com. Make sure you head over to Granite City in Northville at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty, or the Troy location at 16 Mile and I-75.
The following is a presentation of the Michigan Soccer Network. In for Baccarat, and that goes in! Hugo
Well, everybody, and welcome into Grand Rapids Aquinas Soccer Field. It is do or die, win or go home. Aquinas, the number 6, Aquinas taking on Concordia, their first time ever making it into the second round of the NAIA tournament. I'm Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Stickrat. We're live out here in Grand Rapids on the campus of Aquinas, and we have a good matchup here today, Dan, between two teams who are very different in their makeup.
Well, Concordia is coming off a 2-0 upset win over Benedictine, Kansas. That's the first time they've ever won an NAIA national tournament game. They're red hot. The Bulldogs 11-1 in their last 12 games. They are on fire offensively, and they're playing one of the best teams in the country. Look at Aquinas College. It's been a season of dreams thus far. Regular season champions in the Wolverine Hoosier Conference. They won the conference tournament 10 days ago. They've had a 10-day layoff, but they won that conference tournament via shootout over Northwestern Ohio. 83-6 scoring edge for this team. They are a juggernaut on both ends of the field. Kayla Shook has been one of the best goalkeepers in the entire country as a unit. Her back line in front of her, they just don't give up shots. There's 5.3 shots a game that this team has allowed over 18 games. They conceded 6 total goals. And they're a very difficult team to score upon, but they're averaging around 30 shots a game as a unit. Close to 20 players have picked up points this season, so they are a very dangerous team offensively as well. This might become a defensive battle, especially in the early going as both teams kind of get, feeling out stage of what they have out on the pitch. But Aquinas, they're on their home turf. They have earned the right to host the first couple rounds. They're playing as good as any team in the country.
Well, that they are, and we are obviously inside our press box here. And Dan, something that we talk about these winner-go-homes, and this is a great opportunity to talk about how important it is for these two teams to come out here from the get-go and try to go at each other and attack each other and get some goals in the back of the net.
Yeah, we saw the Aquinas game here 10 days ago, and they defeated Northwestern Ohio. It went to PKs, 5-4 for the game-winning goal, so they advanced 2-1. But they kind of meant their match where they were kind of bottled up. They're used to, coming at you in wave after wave after wave, and they were a little bit frustrated in that game because even though they dominate possession, once they got into that final third of the field, it was kind of a bottleneck. They had a hard time getting quality shots on target. So Concordia, Nebraska, they're likely going to do the same thing. They're going to try to clog up those passing lanes, make sure the players don't get a lot of space out on the outside to be able to cross the ball into the penalty box. If you are Aquinas, for much of the season, they've been able to have their will, so to speak, on the offensive third. Scoring goals in bunches, scoring early goals that kind of set the tone. We'll see if they're able to do that today, or will Concordia be a defensive stalwart type team, kind of slow down the Saints.
We are just 7.5 minutes away from getting things underway here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. For all of you watching in Nebraska right now, welcome into the Michigan Soccer Network. We're also live on the National Soccer Network on Roku, so you can check us out there as well. So both a national and local broadcast here this afternoon. Don't go in. When we come back here on the other side of this break, we're going to give you the starting 11s, talk about these two teams here, get ready for all the excitement here. It is win or go home. You're watching the NAIA Women's Soccer Championships on the National Soccer Network.
Are you looking to play at the next level? MSN is now offering player recruitment videos. We are excited to partner with you and your family in getting you to the next level. To learn more about our packages and what we offer, head over to the MichiganSoccerNetwork.com. Remember, your journey starts with a click.
I'm a husband. I'm a father.
I'm a sister.
I'm a son. I'm a brother.
I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a referee.
I'm a referee.
I am a referee.
I'm a referee.
Picture there of the referees and the game ball here at AQUINAS Soccer Field in Grand Rapids. Mr. Beautiful complex here. 5 minutes or so away, Dan, from getting things underway. Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Sticker. We'll bring you back here into our press box again. Dan, we talk about this matchup, and again, we talk about these teams, and a team in AQUINAS who had an unbelievable season, 16-0-2, 11-0-1 in WAC play. On the flip side of this, the Bulldogs coming in, their record this season, I believe they're 14-6 coming into this, 8-3 in that Great Plains Conference. They had never won an NAIA tournament game until this past week. An unbelievable moment for them. Can their ride continue today?
We'll see. They're 11-1 in their last 12 games we talked about before the break. Slow start back in August, early September. They conceded a lot of goals early, but this is a team that is playing well. They're playing with confidence. A lot of shutouts here in the second half of the 2024 campaign. So Concordia, they've earned the right to be here in the second round. AQUINAS picked up that bye, so they have not played a game in 10 days since they emerged in the WAC Conference Tournament Championship, 2-1. The game that went 5-4 on PKs to decide the winner.
So we're going to take a look here at the starting 11s. And Dan, who do we have here starting for Concordia and the Bulldogs?
Well, net number 1, Angela Banks, the senior goalkeeper. Kind of anchor that back line. Number 7, Nia Kirchner. Number 8, Savannah Andrews. Number 9, Sierra Springer. 13 is Sadie Mayers. 17, Elena Ruiz. Number 21 is Hannah Kyle. Number 23, Mira Rosa. Glenna Swan. 27, Kirsten Garner. 29, Taylor Slaymaker. And Trinity Rowe, number 31, rounds out that starting 11 for the Bulldogs.
And let's talk here about AQUINAS and the Saints. Kayla Shook will be in the goal here today for the Saints. Olivia Bowling, Ingrid Hentemann, Sydney Schenk, who's second on the team with 16 goals. Maria Luis Abild, 17. Maya Lichtensteiger. Lichtensteiger, again, leads the team. She's got 17 goals this season. Avery Tack, Savannah Reese, and Bridget Sherman will round out your starting 11 here for the Saints. We'll hand it out now to the public address announcer out at Grand Rapids and the soccer field, and we'll continue there with the national anthem and announcements.
Recognize how they actualize your God-given gifts so that they may compete with respect for one another and for all. May God Creator bless us. May God Redeemer heal us. May God the Holy Spirit fill us with his light. Amen.
If you would please rise. The privilege of this match was made possible by those who have fought and continue to fight for the freedoms we all enjoy. Let us now honor and respect their efforts and our country by standing at attention, placing your hand over your heart, and proudly singing our national anthem. you today's reserves. First for the visiting Bulldogs, number 0, Brandy Orr. Number 3, Hannah Haas. Number 5, Cameron Higer. Number 6, Senna McMullen. Number 10, Kiana Rios. Number 11, Caitlin Smith. Number 15, Sayla Draper. Number 16, Ashley Trujillo. Number 25, Sierra McKinnon. Number 26, Avery Black. Number 28, Emily Howard. Number 30, Aaliyah Vidro. And number 32, Augustine Abshagan. Let's meet the reserves for the Saints. Number 3, Tia Rita Dyer. Number 4, Jessica Graham. Number 7, Ivana Perez. Number 13, Camille Burko. Number 14, Madison Slazinski. Number 15, Emma Merchant. Number 22, Maeve Comfort. Number 24, Emily Geniak. Number 28, Brooklyn McCormick. Number 34, Kennedy Phelan. Number 35,
as they continue the announcements here.
Number 37, Brittany Probst.
And Grand Rapids at Aquinas Soccer Field. Let's take a look at this bracket as a whole. We'll put it up on your screen, the full bracket. There it is. And you see down there at the bottom of your screen, more of a play-in game in that getting into this round of the second round, not the round of 32. I guess you can call it the round of 32, but it's the second round here, Dan. Concordia beating Benedictine 2-0 out of Kansas here this past week on Thursday, making their way here. And again, the winner of this game will take on the winner of Tennessee Southern and the Masters in California here on not a week from now, on December 2nd and 3rd in the round of 16.
So we're down to final 32 here in the NAIA. And you look at both of these teams, Jonathan, they have each have one of the top 10 leading goal scorers in the entire country. You look at Maeva Lichtensteiger for Aquinas College, 17 goals, 15 assists on the campaign for 49 points. She has been an offensive juggernaut individually, but this is a very deep, very balanced team where 18 different players have picked up at least 1 point on this season. They will play a lot of players in the majority of their games this season. And then over at Concordia, Kirsten Garner. At this point, 9 shutouts and 4 shutouts against. They have won 11 of their last 12 games, so they're coming into the round of 32, a very team that has kind of gelled together as a unit over the course of the last 3 months. They've gained a lot of confidence. They're a team that goes into games expecting to win. They're coming off a 2-0 shutout over Benedictine College in Kansas. But they need to find a way to put the ball in the back of the net. Aquinas College, again, one of the best defensive units in the entire country. Just 6 goals allowed over 18 games. They outscored the opposition 83-6. Aquinas averages 4.56 goals a game, and they're conceded just 0.34 goals a contest. You know, Kayla Shook, she comes out of North Farmington High School in suburban Metro Detroit. Had a chance to talk to Kayla Shook back at the end of July. She was the Golden Glove winner for our Women's Super League amateur team over the summer. She did not concede a goal in any conference game in that league for Corktown, which won the conference championship, and she has carried that over into the collegiate season. She was an All-America second-team choice last year, She's definitely going to be one of the top goalkeepers when the postseason awards are announced following the NAIA Final Four.
Just seconds away here from the start of this match. None more important than this, and I know you can start talking about maybe thinking ahead here, Dan, but the finality of today, a team is going to go home here, one happy and one not so happy. But talk about that for a second and how important it is to these two teams when they come out on this field here today to maybe not think about the fact that this could be a game in which they're not going to go on.
But it's one of those things when you cover collegiate and high school sports, when you get in these bracketed tournaments, there's always that element, always that factor that there will be some seniors across the country who are playing their very last games. You do not want to think about that. You want to think about what you've done, what you've practiced for, how your team's going to set up against the opposition. Look for the top players on the other side who you have to mark up and let the game kind of play out. You do not want to start thinking about right now as we're seconds away from kickoff, wow, this could be my last game. Those things can be the furthest from your mind as possible. Concentrate on the task at hand out on the pitch.
Moments away, and here we go. Officially underway here, the NAIA Women's Soccer Championships. Concordia is coming in and taking on number 6, Aquinas. Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Stickrat. You're watching it live on the National Soccer Network, on Roku TV, as well as on YouTube on the Michigan Soccer Network. So thank you. If you're on YouTube, you can get involved in the poll. Right now, 20 votes have come in. 75% of you, I'd imagine all of you from Nebraska watching. And again, now it's sexy 76% are in favor of Concordia winning this game. A Cinderella story? I guess we'll find out here, Dan, is Concordia in their blue kits. They're going left to right on your screen, and Aquinas and the Saints are in their white kits. They're going right to left. This ball makes its way back into the 18. Looking to clear this one up and up this near side. That's good work by Nebelch. There's a little battle in the early going, but one back by Elena Ruiz from Omaha, Nebraska. Went to Omaha South High School, a 5'1" midfielder junior. I wonder if that's the snacks shack out there in the back, Dan, with the popcorns at.
That might be the epicenter of all things popcorn there. On the far side of the field, just beyond the fence. When I was out here 10 days ago when Aquinas hosted the WAC Conference Tournament Championship against Northwestern Ohio, Noah Drury and I were talking about as that game went on, more and more people started showing up. By the time the game reached, double overtime and a shootout, there were people lined up along the fences all around the entire soccer stadium. So it's good to see a huge crowd for that. We'll see if they continue to draw more and more fans as the course of this game goes on. But you're looking at Aquinas right now. They have a tendency to control a lot of possession against teams. We'll see if the Bulldogs can find a way to slow this team down. If they cannot get into a rhythm, Northwestern Ohio, even though it conceded a lot of the possession against Aquinas here in that WAC final, they did a great job frustrating the Saints in the final third of the field.
Picked up here by Sydney Shank, the second leading goal scorer here on the Saints side this season. 16 goals in her 13 appearances, 5 assists, good for 37 points for this Aquinas side. And Dan, this is the first time I've had a chance to cover an Aquinas game this season. I know Noah Drury had a number of calls here throughout that WAC tournament. Did a great job for us here on the National Soccer Network and the Michigan Soccer Network. But this Aquinas side, coached by James DeCosmo, he does a fantastic job. Again, you talk about their record, 16-0-2 coming into this game overall. Obviously, also very, very good showing. When you talk about good, they were 11-0-1 in conference play. Undefeated.
They tied Cornerstone late in the regular season where they sat a bunch of their regulars. They already had the regular season title wrapped up, but there was a 0-0 tie. So, again, they did not concede any goals, even though they sat some of their top offensive targets.
So the ball makes its way back into the hands. First touch here of the game for Angela Banks, the 5'4" senior goalkeeper from Downey, California. Went to St. Joseph High School. So work up that far side of the pitch. It's 43 degrees here in Grand Rapids. It's been cooling down here in Michigan over the last couple of days. Saw snow in Chicago as well as Grand Rapids, or Kalamazoo area. If you were watching any of the Western Michigan broadcasts here this past Thursday night, you would know they had almost 3 inches of snow coming down during that game. Western Michigan winning that game 5-1 over SIUE. Southern Illinois University, Evansville. Picked up now by Taylor Slaymaker, the defender, 5'7" senior from Kearney, Nebraska. Went to Kearney High School. If you're tuning in here on YouTube, we don't pay. We don't charge you for admission. The only price for admission is really getting involved in the comments and telling us who you're rooting for, your thoughts on the game. Maybe your thoughts on Dan, but not me. I don't want.
John isn't open for critique.
As this ball is put in towards top of the 18. One back by Ruiz, and good turn of the ball there from Galen Swan.
Talked about this in Aquinas' last game, how quickly they close in when they do not have the ball.
Oh, look at this ball into the 18. Shot low and in! And just like that, Maria Luisa Bild, it's 1-0 in favor of Aquinas.
And leading.
Here comes another look at this one as that goal comes here in the 6th minute. This is a great ball slotted into the 18 by Lichtensteiger, and that's put home by number 17, a Bild. And a Bild comes in. That's her 9th goal of the season. Probably none greater than that, Dan.
Just 5:09 into the contest. Second shot finds a way in the back of the net. So their leading goal scorer sets up the helper.
That's her 16th assist for Lichtensteiger. Talk about having a huge impact. You've got your leading assister and leading goal scorer passing the ball off to the fourth leading goal scorer on the team, now getting her 9th goal. So it's great work in the early going here. Now Concordia has a mountain to call. And again, we say this, you're coming into this one, and maybe the youthful experience maybe in this moment. I'm not saying it's the best of you, but you've got to come in and play sound defense in the early going of a match like this and try to get through that first 10 minutes. And if you can do that, build some confidence. And unfortunately, they weren't able to do that here. But what can they do, Dan, now? And, with 7 minutes into this game, what can they do to kind of get things rolling and find a way here to find an equalizer?
They've got to find a way to get the ball out of the back. We're talking about how quickly Aquinas College closes in on the defenders, and that goal originally came off a steal. A pass was made over to Lichtensteiger, and a Bild, well known for her set pieces and assists on her own, was there, just inside the box, the rifle one home. But if you are the Bulldogs of Concordia, you got to find a way to get that ball away from the feet of Aquinas, because they are like a beehive. They swarm. Every time the opposition has the ball, they will swarm you. They are forcing turnovers, and they only give up 5.3 shots a game. So the Bulldogs know they're not going to get very many chances. You have to get that ball out of your end of the field and try to find a way to get a restart, make something happen, because your chances will be few and far between.
One back here by Aquinas and the Saints. Just joining us, a 6th-minute goal by Marie-Louise Bild, her 9th goal of the season. Right now, all the difference in this one is we're just 8 minutes into this game. Take another look at this goal here again. Take a look at this, and again, what a nice little toe poke right in through that seam. That back line, and that's a great finish by a Bild.
Lichtensteiger, the leading goal scorer, just a great effort. She stole that ball, perfectly slots the ball through that open space between 3 defenders. And Bild was able to
Look at it now.
Home.
Lichtensteiger goes right at the goalkeeper and Banks. She's not able to get it cleanly at first, but picks up the rebound. You know, you talk about how many threats, Aquinas has, right? You look at this up and down their roster, right? You've got Lichtensteiger, who's a handful all on her own right. You've got Sydney Schenk, another handful. Madison Szyczki. You've got Maria Reese, a build. You've got Olivia Bowling. All these players have so many goals. I mean, you've got 8 goals for a build, now 9. Olivia Bowling had 9 goals coming into this one. It's so hard to manage 5 or 6 players.
Well, and they have such depth. 8 players on the roster have at least 11 points. You have 15 different players that have scored goals, and then 15 other players have had at least 1 assist on the season. But you have so many players that have been involved in the attack, and that's where that depth kind of checks in. They will go deep into their bench to get a lot of fresh legs, a lot of fresh bodies going, give their stars a couple minutes break before putting them back in. But some of those players can produce as well. Now, their numbers won't be as great offensively here the later stages of the NEIA tournament, so we're now in the round of 32. But they have the players that are capable of setting up teammates or finding the back of the net themselves.
First comment coming in the game, and David Mayer says she was offside. I don't. Again, I'd have to look back at that play. Honestly, that angle that we don't have multiple angles in this. It very well may be the case. I don't know. I couldn't necessarily see that angle. But at the end of the day, the call on the field was that it was a clean goal. But
linesman was right there on that play, so he did not wave his flag. Build. First chance for her in this game. She leaves, no doubt, tucking that into the left side.
Good continued pressure here as now Tack brings it up this near side. And apologize, Dan, for cutting you off.
th minute, 3-0 in shots overall in favor of Aquinas. They got that goal there at just 5:09 into the contest. All 3 of their shots have been on frame. And Angela Banks, the goalkeeper for Concordia, has 2 saves and 3 attempts so far. Aquinas has done a great job of getting a lot of players involved across the pitch, as they've had all season. They spread the field, play very good possession ball, try to get a lot of players touches, and they won't hesitate to kind of bring the ball back out, knock it back to one of the defenders to kind of rebuild that attack. But they will come at you in waves, wave after wave, and they've been able to do that in their previous 18 games this season.
So throwing on that far side. One back by the Saints. Up that far side, the ball might make its way out. It does. Slaymaker was there defensively, as you see now, the throw-in coming in from Sadie Mayer is a 5'4" sophomore from Scottsdale, Arizona. She went to Chaparral High School in Scottsdale. One place I haven't been to, Dan, is Arizona, and I hear how beautiful Scottsdale is as a city, as a destination.
Yeah, my sister lives down in the Phoenix Valley. She used to live in Scottsdale, Fountain Hills area. She lives down south of Phoenix, but you look in each direction, and there's a mountain range, and there's a lot of great hiking trails up in those hills and in the mountains, and it's very picturesque when that sun is rising or setting in Arizona. You have all those mountains in the background.
It's one of those things too, David, and I appreciate you're coming back in. The box shows it clearly, but you're right. It is what it is. That's the one thing, it's as you get into and again, I know the Big Ten conference and some of the Power 5 conferences at the higher levels will have replay as an option as this ball is played into the 18. A touch, and that was in. It's in, finding its way in here. Number 26, Savannah Reese. In the 14th minute, puts one up and over Banks. It's 2-0.
That shot comes off a volley. She found a little bit of space in the middle of the box, able to send that one high towards the upper 90.
I mean, just gets enough on it, and it kind of froze Banks there initially. Let's take another look at that one. when it comes in, and I think that Banks wasn't sure if that was going to still stay on the field or not. And again, a volley, and again, she just kind of looked at it. She wasn't quite sure if it might even make its way on frame. But either way, Reese puts it in. She gets her 3rd goal of the season.
Great effort by Sydney Shank there on the touchline. Just enough space to send that ball back into the middle of the box. Talk about the waves of attack. We had a couple players kind of making the runs into the box. Savannah Reese was there to knock it home from close range. So 4 shots, all on frame, 2-0 advantage.
That was a long-range shot to go up over the net past Kayla Shook. So far it's 2-0 here in just 15 minutes of play. Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Stickrat. We appreciate your watching wherever you're watching, near or far. Let us know in the chat, who you're rooting for, where you're watching from. Love to always know. David Mears, obviously the, like I say, I don't know if he's the father of Sadie Mears, but he's involved in the chat. That's a Scottsdale, Arizona product. Something we like to do here on the Michigan Soccer Network and National Soccer Network is get involved with you, the fans at home.
Concordia, Nebraska, they find themselves in a 2-0 hole, and that's significant because no team has scored more than 1 goal against this Saints defense. Only 6 teams have even scored a goal on Aquinas.
This ball played in, goes just off the head of Lichtensteiger. Now it will go up on this near side. Appreciate the 137 of you tuning in right now on the Michigan Soccer Network. Again, we are also on Roku TV, on your Roku TVs and devices. Another ball played towards top of the 18. Nobody there, is cleared away. You know, and something, too, I talked about this on the broadcast. I had a chance, Dan, on ESPN here on Thursday night to cover the NCAA opening round game between the University of Michigan Wolverines and Robert Morris University out of the Horizon League. And something we talked about that is, when you're coming into a game like this, or like what Robert Morris was in their game against Michigan, is there this mentality that you should pack it in defensively and not play a team straight up, right? And I know that there's different schools of thoughts on this and whether you should be playing a team straight up or being defensive-minded, being conservative in your offensive approach, and just try to counterattack. And I know that that's something that a lot of coaches struggle with. It's a battle that they might have about whether or not they should continue to defend or just play a team as you normally would. At the end of the day, the goal is to win. The goal is to move on, right? That's the goal. And does Concordia coming into this one maybe playing more of a straight-up mentality, does that hurt them against an Aquinas and the Saints team, or does it not hurt them?
Yeah, I think it's more of a pick-your-poison situation, because if they do pack the boxes, it's going to be very hard to get the ball downfield. You see how dangerous Aquinas is. They've had 5 shots, 4 on target, 2 in the back of the net. We're only in the 18th minute. But defensively, again, Aquinas, 6 goals allowed in 18 games. They have 12 shutouts. The only time Aquinas was shut out, again, was late in the regular season.
Look at this shot from Lichtensteiger. That's blocked and cleared away. A lot of you are watching from all over the United States. We've got watching from Cincinnati, Ohio, Caroline Kemper, Anuncia McMillan. We're watching from the KC area, so Kansas City. Mark DeCosmo's watching from the UK. Well, if that's the brother of James DeCosmo or if it's father, but either way, it's pretty cool. Watching from, I'm assuming it's California, CA, Sarah Manfredi. Ellie Eason from Concordia alumni is watching from Omaha, Nebraska.
Aquinas are doing a great job. They're just moving the ball over all sides of the field, getting everyone involved. Even their outside wingbacks are making touches. Their midfielders, they're getting everyone involved. And, we were talking about a few minutes ago, when you give up 6 goals at this point in this stage, they tied Cornerstone 0-0 back in October 26th. They already had the WAC regular season championship wrapped up. They sat some players. But this is a very deep team. 83-6, goals for, goals against. If you are the Bulldogs, you need to find a way to slow this team down. Whatever has happened here in the first 18 and a half minutes hasn't worked. You've had one shot over the goal from 35 yards out. You've been outshot 6-1 overall. You're down 2-0, so you need to make some adjustments. If there's any adjustments you can make, again, Aquinas, this is one of their best teams they've ever had. They are undefeated at this point.
Yeah, you just can't say enough. Almost giving away, play back now to Banks. Now this has been given away right back to the Saints, almost right back to the Saints and the belt. Nina Krones-Franzen is saying she's watching from Spain. Hola. No, Dan, you know any Spanish, Dan? No?
C, maybe?
C.
I took German and sign language, but if I do sign on
you did German sign language?
I did German in high school, and I had a class of sign language.
I thought you said you did German sign language. I thought that's
no.
I'm like, wow, that's a class. As this ball played up towards midfield. Chicken Kangaroo says watching from Michigan. I want to give a shout out here to Brianna. She's our producer here today. Also along with her are some student interns here as well. And Emmeline and Abby Hinman joining her today and learning the ropes here at our studios in Shelby Township, Michigan.
We have had many student athletes in high school and college kind of shadow us at games all over the state of Michigan here in the last couple of years.
Oh, look at this ball played up here to Cindy Shank. Shank will slot it inside toward the back post and in. Goal number 3 and goal number 10 for Mary Louisa Build. It's 3-0.
Sydney Shank sent that ball into the box and a Build. She's now scored the first and third goals in this contest. 7 shots overall. 5 on frame, 3 in the back of the net. We've only played about 21 minutes now, and the offense is really clicking on all cylinders here today for Aquinas College.
And she didn't get a ton of that ball, but she got just enough to put it back through the 2 defenders there of Concordia. It's 3-0 here. 22 minutes into this game.
So the Saints have now scored the opposition 86-6. They're up 3-0. They're in complete and total control of this NEIA round of 32 match. Again, they've given up 1 shot in this game that was from long distance, well over the crossbar, and they have been able to maintain most of the possession here. And they, again, we talked about it in this broadcast. We talked about it in that WAC final here 10 days ago. They'll come at you a waves. They'll get everyone involved in the pitch. They'll go deep in their bench. They have a multitude of weapons on this team. And when you have 15 different players that picked up points, you have 8 players with 11 or more points on the roster. That kind of showcases the depth you have offensively.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's sometimes in the game of soccer and in sports and all sports that matter, you are obviously facing off against a really tough opponent, and how do you find a way to manage that and give yourself a fighting chance? And obviously going down 3-0, 22 minutes into a game, that I talked about a mountain in that with that first goal. Now you're talking about getting over 3 mountains. Again, it's not a task that many teams have been able to face this season. And you talked about not a single team has been able to get more than 1 goal in on this Aquinas side as that ball is pushed out wide and down inside the 18. Referee will say, come on, get up now. Out for a corner kick. I believe that was Lichtensteiger that took that spill. It was. So as Jenny Haas says, now watching from Colorado Springs, go Bulldogs. From Washington State, let's go Saints, go Sid, Mom and Dad and Papa and Grandma. Full house for the Shanks. This ball put back in. First corner of the match here for either side. This ball is played up into the mix and a touch by Banks. And now it's finally cleared away up and out by the Bulldogs. A long ball put back in towards the 18, and right into the hands of Banks it will go. Mark DeCosmo saying she's a great player. Obviously, I believe talking to Sydney Schenk. Grace Sampson's asking, would Aquinas host their next game if they were to win? And my guess is, being that they are the higher seed, that's definitely a possibility. Is good work now by Slazinski. She's in the 18. Now Slazinski will take a shot that goes far and wide. I'd have to see. I know that obviously as you start to get into the finals will take place in Pensacola, Florida, I believe, coming up here in a few weeks. I believe that, yeah, it'll take place December the 2nd through the 9th. So my question is what does when does that happen? So does that happen right after this? After, or does it go to the Elite Eight is when they'll be in Pensacola? My guess is the quarterfinals will be all played there. That's December the 5th. I think they're all going to be in. I think they're all going to be in Pensacola, Florida, for that round of 16. So I think this next game they go to Pensacola, Florida. Just based on what I'm reading here.
It's amazing. I think we are almost to the end of November.
Yeah, second round will meet up in Pensacola, Florida. So that's what they'll be, and they'll play all the finals there. Looking at this, which again, you look at this in just the turnaround time. Dan, I mean, you've got the quarterfinals will be on December. So the round of 16 will be December 2nd and the 3rd. Quarterfinals will be on the 5th of December. Semifinals on the 7th and the finals on the 9th. So you're going to be down in Florida for a week if you make that roll. We do have the tournament bracket. We'll put that up on the screen here when we have a moment.
Aquinas got to the Elite Eight here a year ago. Going to find a way to get to the Final Four this year. Again, they have not lost a game. We've talked so much about their forwards and midfielders, all the points they get, but Ingrid Henneman, their senior center back, she's from Grand Haven High School on the west side of Michigan there out by Lake Michigan. She's kind of been an anchor in that back line. Her and Kayla Shook, the junior goalkeeper from North Farmington. It's a great back line. Again, 0.34 goals against average after 18 games coming into this. And they had to go to a shootout to defeat University of Northwestern Ohio here 10 days ago, and Shook came through with a huge save in that shootout as they prevailed 5-4 in PK. So they won the regular season and the conference tournament in the WHAC. The WAC, so much praise should go to this defense. They do not give up chances. They do not make very many mistakes. And when you have a team in front of you that controls possession throughout, there's sometimes that the defense doesn't have to do that much work, but you look at collectively as a unit, Shook in her back line, Henteman, and the other defenders back there. Just 5.3 shots allowed. They've only gave up 6 goals, and again, 0.34 goals against average. That's a team.
51 votes have come in so far. 53% of you still have Concordia winning this game. 47% have Aquinas. This ball pushed out wide. Lichtensteiger towards that back post and just over the head of Emily Gignac. Gignac came in here a few moments ago. She's a sophomore forward from Commerce Township, Michigan. Went to Walled Lake Northern High School, studying to be a teacher. So little guy tuning in, watching from Michigan. That's we appreciate that. We are not asking for your latitude and longitude. That's maybe a little more specific. We have had someone say they're watching from a parking lot in the past. So that's a real thing. So 28 minutes in, Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Stickrat.
Look at that Aquinas roster. 21 of their players come from different high schools and clubs around the state of Michigan. This is a very in-state oriented team. They do have some star players that come from overseas and from other states, but we have 21 players who call Michigan their home. Again, grew up attending high schools and playing for some of the elite clubs across the state of Michigan.
On your screen right now, you can get the MSN merch. Soccer versus everybody, now available on our website, MichiganSoccerNetwork.com. You can get long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, and more. But soccer versus everybody. Check it out at the MichiganSoccerNetwork.com after the game. Someone just asked clock, and I'm not sure. Maybe the clock might be off based on maybe stoppages. We'll take a look at that here in a moment. Maybe that's why they're saying clock, question mark. I do believe the clock does come to a stop on all goals in college, so our producer's looking at me like I'm she's like, oops. Like, I didn't know that. So we're probably off by a good minute 30 is my guess, Dan, right?
Give or take a few seconds.
Problem is that unfortunately I'm looking at the stats site, statsbroadcast.net. That's currently not showing up on that far side. They're looking to slot this one towards that back post. Cross goes high and long.
A little bit too much pace on that. It goes out of harm's way. But again, we're now in about 30 minutes into this first half. Aquinas College is dominating every facet of this game. 3-0 on that scoreboard where it matters most, but every offense and defensive category, this team is clicking on all cylinders here today in Grand Rapids.
We're on that back line. That's bowling. It should look to go long up that far side as it makes its way out. Christine Jones is Go Bulldogs cheering you on from Olathe, Kansas. I think it's Olathe. Do you know Olathe, Dan? You know it? You know, you've heard of it? You're nodding. You're not saying anything.
Yeah, no, I think there's a couple other colleges in that town.
I just want to make sure I don't want to say it wrong. Olathe. Obviously, I'm used to hearing lathe from the machinery type of a lathe, but Olathe. So someone just did give us the longitude and latitude location. That's awesome.
Olathe, Kansas, 147,400 residents as of 2013. I believe Kansas State University is the Division I school that's in Olathe.
No, actually it's Olathe. So it's so that A, even though it is a E sound, it comes with an A at the end. So Olathe is the pronunciation. So appreciate that. Anusia McMillan. David Mears says down 3-0. I say Concordia switched to a 4-2-4 for best opportunity to score. Yeah, I mean, at this point, whether you lose 7-0, you lose 3-0, it doesn't matter. A loss is a loss, so go out fighting. I still think the game plan here in the early going, probably not the one that I would have chosen had I been the coach of this game. I would have been, again, understanding that a team has not scored, allowed a lot of goals. The mentality here is you're playing a transitional game. That's the game plan. You got to pack it in. You've got to stop them from scoring goals. So pack it in. Be very conservative in your approach. Force them to take shots from 30 yards out if you have to. Really frustrate them. Kick at their ankles. I'm not saying be chippy or being dirty, but frustrate the player. Get them to maybe get a little undisciplined. See if that turns out to do anything. And if you can do those things, enough frustration, get yourself a set piece inside of 50 yards and just start putting balls in, right? And that's what I would do if how I would have started this game. At this point, whether you go with 3 in the back and you play a 3-5-1 or a 3-3-4, it doesn't matter. You got to find a way to score some goals. And right now you're not chasing 3, you're chasing 1, right? So if you're talking about, Nick Smith and what his message to his team is, you're not chasing the fact that you're down 3 goals. You're chasing 1 goal. Go get 1. And if you can get 1, then you worry about number 2. And then if you worry about number 2, you worry about number 3. But that'd be the message that I would have if I was the coach of this team. And obviously I am not. I'm sitting here in the booth and very warm and cozy, I might say. But Kansas State University is in Manhattan, Kansas. Mid-America University is in Olathe. Well, there you go. Happy to help. Watching our granddaughter Aquinas goalie Kayla Shook go Saints. That's Terry Shook. Watching Lauren Niblet Aquinas from Lucia, Italy. Well, there you go. We got Italy. We've got Spain as this ball is played in, top of the 18. Still up in the air, trying to win that one back is the Saints. Now it's played up here towards midfield and settled down by Sydney Shank, and she'll push it up this near side, and she'll find on the Gignac. Pushed inside now to Slazinski. She'll play it back. Shank. Now Shank will fire one. That actually hit off of Lichtensteiger right at her. And if you're just joining us, we've got a slew of goals that have happened here in this game. First one coming back in the 6th minute. That one scored by Mary Louisa Bild, her 9th goal of the season. And then Mava Lichtensteiger, she gets one. She had the assist on that goal. I apologize. Sydney Shank scored goal number 2. That goal coming, I believe, just a few minutes later in the 11th minute. And then another goal was scored by a Bild once again. She scored that goal. I think that came in the 22nd minute. So those are where the goals came in. Sorry, a little bit of a freeze up there by our camera. So 35 minutes into this one, Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Stickrat. You're watching the NAIA 2024 Women's Soccer Championship second round action here on the National Soccer Network. Watching from Quad Cities, go Saints. That's Jennifer Reese. Ball played towards top of the 18. Looked to cut back. That's one back by the Bulldogs. That's good ball movement. That combination play just didn't work out there. Dad, I got a question. And we talk about this a lot, and we see it. Now we don't talk about this a lot, but we talk a lot about soccer and the nuances of it and sports in general. But do you feel like in athletics that if you have a school and their mascot's the Bulldogs, or other maybe names like do you think there should be a feminine aspect when it's a female environment? Like maybe there should be maybe more of a non-masculine mascot, or do you have any opinion on that at all? I'm just curious. I know the Norse would have the Norse men, and I think they just changed the Lady Norse is what they say when they're talking about that from the Northern Kentucky University side. But is that a thing that you think should happen in sports?
I mean, I think some schools have made some changes over the years. A lot of schools have gone away with nicknames and mascots have to do with something like Indian tribes. Some schools have held on to their heritage there, but some have made their switches at high schools and colleges, even like in the NFL with the Washington Redskins are now the Washington Commanders. I think it's a choice. I mean, if a school is getting pressure, they might consider it making a change, or with the mascot, or changing the name around between men's and women's, or boys and girls for high school. I'm sure there's a lot of factors that go into those types of choices as well.
I don't disagree. I want to remind everyone this game is brought to you by Robinson's Popcorn. You can pop by the Aquinas concession stand if you happen to be out on the campus of Grand Rapids, or you can go and shop at robinsonspopcorn.com to buy your tasty Popalicious flavors. And Dan, I'm on their website right now, and they have this new popcorn balls. They're $4 each. Delicious Robinson's popcorn, dunked in a hard candy coating and covered in sprinkles, chocolate chips, and tons of additional goodies. I don't even know what to make it.
That's a little bit too much sugar for me.
My blood sugar, just thinking about it, has gone up. Just thinking about it, but that is an amazing thing. You can go to robinsonspopcorn.com. A very interesting story. You talk about the Robinsons. The Robinson Popcorn is a family business, which means you'll be treated like family the moment you place an order. Ben and Joy Robinson and their children enjoy warm, fresh, great-tasting popcorn. Of course they do. They own it. Of course. I mean, I can only imagine what their household is like for movie night, Dan. You think about movie night. I mean, we make popcorn. My wife has this little popcorn thing that she makes with the kids, and it's great. And I prefer the Orville Redenbacher, movie theater popcorn, whatever you want to call it. But I enjoy that prepackaged, right in the microwave, out it comes. I'm happy. But they throw it in this pot, they spin some wheel, and it pops, and they throw some butter and a whole bunch of salt that gives, I think, the average human being, cholesterol and high blood pressure. But I can imagine if you're thinking about, the Robinson family and their popcorn, right? It's probably really Imagine what it's like being in their house.
Sometimes when I get popcorn, it's that aroma, like you walk into a gymnasium or field house for maybe like a high school boys basketball game or a collegiate, women's basketball game. You smell that popcorn. That's when I'm kind of lured to make a journey over to the concession stand and buy some popcorn. But I haven't had a ton of PC as of late.
I do apologize, by the way. I did say that the second goal was scored by not Cindy Shank. It was scored by Savannah Reese. So I do apologize for that.
Reese had the second goal, and Shank had the assists on the second and third goal.
That was the reason why I had her name circled. So I do apologize for that. So thank you very much for Terry for asking that question. And yes, Donna Reese, that is correct. She did get that goal. So my apologies. Donna Lynn Reese watching their daughter Savannah Reese from Midlothian, Texas. Midlothian, Texas. So we have people watching all around the United States. So appreciate you tuning in. 69 votes have come in so far. 57% of you have Aquinas winning this game. 43% have Concordia. Keep those votes going in. We'll keep those going until about the 75th minute of this game. Game is still down a little bit here. And again, for James DeCosmo, you don't have to keep your foot on the gas at 3-0. You don't want to take your foot off the gas entirely. Getting a fourth goal is maybe as important as it might sound. It's that 2-0 we always talk about. When you get that second goal, it's, hey, you got to get that third one. That third one is in most cases is the nail in the coffin. So ball played back.
Bulldogs done a little bit better job with possession ball here the last few minutes, but they're still unable to get the ball into Aquinas College's half of the field. And when they do, they quickly turn it over. So just look at the balance all over this roster for Aquinas College. They, again, are doing a great job when they do have possession. They're getting everyone involved in the build-up, everyone involved in the attack.
There's this ball and foul call. Not many fouls called in this one so far. I believe this is only the second foul of the game total, Dan, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's the third one. You do keep track of stats. I don't. Kim Boys watching my niece Shayla Saravath from Indiana. So a free kick coming up here for Aquinas and the Saints. Concordia is in blue. Ball is played into the 18, loose, and cleared away, but the flag did go up for offside. That's the second one of the game.
So 42nd minute, Aquinas not just up 3-0, 9-1 in total shots, 5-0 with shots on goal, and 1-0 on corner kicks. They have dominated this game thus far, and they're in their comfort zone of being up 3 goals, and they have not given up more than 1 goal in any game this season. They have now outscored the opposition 86-6 in 18.5 games.
We got to get an accurate clock time. I don't know. My guess is it's got to be somewhere we're probably off by a minute or so, at least. Look at the clock. We're going to find a way to. It's too bad. The thing that sucks is we don't have access to the clock.
Just the second foul of the game against Concordia, Nebraska. The Bulldogs now in the 43rd minute, so we're just a few minutes left here in the first half.
Now we're starting to see some fouls from both teams. And here I talk about how they're having a lot of fouls in this game, and the next thing you know, there's 4 fouls in about 30 seconds. So commentator's curse, of course, Dan, right?
5 total fouls in this match, and 4 have come in the last 2 minutes. We were just talking about it there just a couple minutes ago. Now we've seen 4 fouls in a matter of a couple of minutes. So, but it's been somewhat of a very clean game.
That was Galen Swan from Menifee, California, University of Jamestown transfer. A senior midfielder, 5'7", is Lichtensteiger. Looks to go out wide. It's broken up defensively by Concordia, and up the field Ruiz will go. She's met here on this near side, right below the press box. It's good work defensive there by Segovia. 5'7" midfielder senior from IES Sid Campadar from Valencia, Spain. Studying business and sports management. It's weird because I was just talking with another college student about this a couple days ago, Dan, and the world, Michigan is known for its engineering, right? Obviously because of the automotive industry, but there are so many engineers that have lost their jobs over the last number of years. Number of engineers that have, you start the engineering field. I could imagine, especially automotive engineering. You're talking about the electric car world now, and so you don't need the same type of engineers anymore. And then with all the technology as far as AI is concerned, I think a lot of this can be done by computers. You don't even need a person to come up. So I almost feel like I wonder, like engineering, how many students are going into that field still, and whether or not it's still a viable option.
Yeah, it's like a lot of other professions. The way technology has gone, you have to kind of reinvent yourself, pick up more, not just hone your skills, but pick up more skills, because your job right now, 10 years now, is going to be different in a lot of aspects. But there could be a sense where it's an overcrowding field as well, as more and more people get into it, not just around the country, but around the globe. Not as many jobs available.
Ball was searching up top for Kirshner Garner, and she'll lose the ball, but one right back by Concordia and the Bulldogs. Played inside. Played back up. One back by the Saints. Szynski. All played into the 18. Szynski gets a head on it. Now settled down by McMullen. And right now, if you're the Bulldogs and Ruiz, you've got to find a way here right now in these winning moments of this first half. Something positive, right? You haven't had a shot on target. You've had, I think, a shot that went up and over. That might have been a foul that happened. I think that shot didn't even count. They have not recorded a shot, I don't believe, Dan.
They had a one shot.
Okay.
About 15 minutes of the game. It was like 35 yards out, went over the crossbar, well out of harm's way. And they have struggled to get the ball down in that final third of the field. You can see that kind of that wave. They're coming at you with a lot of different players. They're moving the ball from side to side, trying to find those seams to be able to slot the ball through. They're using their wingers on the outside, midfielders and forwards kind of playing on the flanks. Quick to touch the ball back to their back line to, start the attack again. They've been a team that's been known to do this against most opponents throughout the course of this season.
Now, Probst was on the ball for the Saints, but one back by Concordia. Ball played up in towards the 18. As Banks has it now, and she'll roll it out. Anuncia McMullen, that's my sister, go number 6. McMullen, Sienna McMullen is from Olathe, Kansas. Went to Olathe South High School. A 5'5" defender senior for the Concordia women's soccer program. See a couple subs coming in. That one, it's Hannah Haas from Colorado Springs. 5'4" senior midfielder. And we saw other Haas hopping in, but that's going to wrap up this first half. And so far, it has been all Saints in this one. A 6th-minute goal coming here from Marie-Louise Albild. A 14th-minute goal from Savannah Reese. And then a 22nd-minute goal from Marie-Louise Albild again, her 10th of the season. It's 3-0 here. 45 minutes to go. Can Concordia find a way to pull it together and find a way to get some goals in the back? And then a tall order against an Aquinas side that's only conceded 6 goals this entire season. We'll find out after this.
Are you looking to play at the next level? MSN is now offering player recruitment videos. We are excited to partner with you and your family in getting you to the next level. To learn more about our packages and what we offer, head over to the MichiganSoccerNetwork.com. Remember, your journey starts with a click.
I'm a husband. I'm a father.
I'm a sister.
I'm a son. I'm a brother.
I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a referee.
I'm a referee.
I am a referee.
I'm a referee.
Are you looking to take your game to the next level? Did you know that MSN is now offering player recruitment videos? Our packages include a player profile where you show your preferred positions, the club, the league, or school that you play in, your current coach contact information, and more. The highlight videos could be self-submitted, 15 to 30 clips that will be put into a 3 to 7 minute long video. Video review of your Huddle, VO, or other platforms that you might have video on, as well as for an additional charge, MSN can come out and film games for you to create those clips. Our coach evaluation process, which is also an additional charge, where we have college coaches from various levels across the United States that will review your game film and provide feedback on how to improve that film, as well as also evaluating your play and what you can improve on. To learn more about our packages and what we offer, head over to the MichiganSoccerNetwork.com. Remember, your journey starts with a click.
Welcome you back into AQUINAS Soccer Field. Is taking a look here at some of the first half replays, and again, Shank, 2 assists. That was goal number 3 as we welcome you into the press box. Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Stickrat. Hope you are enjoying the broadcast here so far. It's the NAIA Women's Soccer Championships round number 2, and you're watching it live on the Michigan Soccer Network YouTube channel and the National Soccer Network on Roku TV. And comments continue to come in, and Dan, I'm having fun. You having fun?
I'm having fun, and it's been a dominating effort by the homestanding Aquinas College. The Saints all over Concordia, Nebraska. 3-0 here at the break. Jonathan, 9-1 on total shots, 5-0 with shots on frame, 1-0 in a corner kick, up on that scoreboard. 3 goals, 3-0 advantage, scoring on 3 of their 5 shots on target. And they have held majority of possession throughout this contest. Kayla Shook, their junior goalkeeper, second team All-American last year, yet to make an official save in this match. So they are spreading that field. They're getting everyone involved. They're coming at you. We talked about that in the first half, their wave of attacks. And if they can't seem to find that open seam, they'll knock it back to the defenders and build up that attack once again.
Yeah, and again, we talked about this the game plan coming into this, and I think that just from my experience, and I'm guilty of it too as a coach, right? You try to put your team in the best position to win games, and you're talking about coming in and taking on a team in Aquinas who hasn't allowed a lot of goals, and they have scored a ton along the way. And just looking at this, and I saw something very similar with Robert Morris against University of Michigan on Thursday night. I talked about it here a little while ago. You've got to find a way. You've got to find a way to slow down an offense. And when you go down early, 6 minutes into this game, you've really given yourself, you put yourself in a really bad spot to be able to come away with a victory when you go down early like that. So it's just one of those things where you've just got to find a way to kind of put that behind you. Now this is about how do we get that one goal back, then get the second, get the third, and kind of go from there. But I'm not sure if I'm happy with the game plan coming out of Concordia here to start this game against the best team, one of the best teams in the country in the NAIA. We got some coverage of Zabashamp. Fantastic coverage. Well, we appreciate that very much. Thank you. Let's go, Ashley from Denver. That's Kevin Collier. But again, Dan, we talk about this. Second half coverage coming up here in just a little bit. It's 43 degrees out right now at Aquinas Soccer Field, and you're watching the 2024 NAIA Women's Soccer Championship on the National Soccer Network. A big announcement coming up here after this. And what I mean by big announcement, Dan, me and you have been working on some serious things here behind the scenes. Do you like indoor soccer, Dan?
I used to play it an awful lot, so yes, I do.
The question is, do you like indoor soccer, America? Because if you like indoor soccer, we have some really, really exciting news for you coming up here after this. So we come back from break, we'll talk about that. But hey, second half coverage coming up here. This matchup between Aquinas and Concordia, the Bulldogs out of Nebraska. We'll be right back after this. Luzerai, one-on-one. Luzerai, he'll be taken down inside the box.
Knocked back in. Nationals got it. Bicycle kick for a goal.
Now Sacker. Sacker into the 18. Sacker shot. That goes off the goalkeeper's glove into the net. 2-1 here in the 32nd. This one played in. That's a good ball. That one goes in. And just like that, the Nationals now have a 1-0 lead. Walensky puts his far post. One-touch opportunity. And what a great goal that was.
Joaquin Beatty has Ohio League.
Look at that shot from Sevi Roy. My goodness, Sevi Roy with a left-footed banger. Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in. Welcome back here into Aquinas Soccer Field. Take a look at that goal number 2 back in the 16th minute. Well, that's not it, but it's coming up here in a second, I promise. It was a good ball, though, that came in. That was one of a couple of good balls. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, hey, you don't always get the replays exactly right, but either way, excited to have you along here wherever you're watching. Not right now. Not it, Brianna. We welcome you back here into our press box, and I apologize about that. I guess we didn't have the second goal right away, but either way, no worries.
You saw the third goal by a Bill that
it
served over to the right side in traffic. She knocks it home, so race, build.
Hey, so here's the big news. You ready? I don't have the graphic for it because I'm feeling good here.
He's feeling good.
It's
getting close to Christmas. He's feeling good.
That's right. The National Soccer Network will bring to you 104, well, not 100, not 105, but 104 major arena soccer league matches, the MASL, live on the National Soccer Network YouTube channel and our Roku channel all winter long. 104 matches will come your way. They'll be live on our platform, and you'll be able to watch them right here on Roku TV. So that is our announcement. We'll make the announcement, official announcement. But all of you watching and tuning in here today are learning about it right now. So you'll be able to watch them all from right here. So that's my announcement then.
We talked about at the end of July at a Flint City Bucks game that the National Soccer Network was coming. And the staff at Premier Media Group, the Michigan Soccer Network, has been working feverishly behind the scenes, not just providing, broadcasts, live shows, a lot of written content on our website, but we've been working behind the scenes the last several months to try to set up some things with some leagues across the country. So this is the latest announcement. There's more to come here in the upcoming months, but I'm excited about the potential growth here. And all of our platforms.
We, as of right now in 2025, have scheduled, Dan, 2,927 games. That's what we have coming on the platform, and we couldn't be more excited about that. We'll bring you back out to the field level here now at Aquinas Soccer Field, and as things are about to get back underway here. We had some comments coming in here during the halftime break. David Mayers appreciate the unbiased commentary despite highlighting the firepower Aquinas that is deserved. Again, we talk about this, and you think about this from the standpoint of every team, every coach has this internal debate about what they think they should do in a game like this. Last year, we were covering a high school game here in Michigan, and there was a team that came in. I'm not going to details about who the teams were, but the team coming in, you could tell the parents were extremely upset with the fact that the team that their team that they're rooting for was going to go into this defensive-minded game plan. And ultimately, it was the right game plan. It was the right game plan because I can't tell you how many times I've watched a soccer game from the booth, Dan, as a coach or otherwise, as a player or even as a fan. And why are you doing that? It's okay to say you're not as good as the next team. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say, hey, guys, we're just not as good as they are. They have way more firepower than we do. So what is going to give us the best chance to come out of this with a victory? And to be fair, what Concordia should have done in this and to start this game is they should have packed it in, and their goal to get to halftime 0-0. If they can do that, they give themselves a fighting chance. And to be fair, once that happens, then anything can happen. How many times have you seen as a fan of the game of soccer or watched a game where you're like, my goodness, that team is so much better than us, but we have just found a way to frustrate them, and you get a scrappy goal. And then for the next 45 minutes, the Cleveland Browns had no business beating Pittsburgh on Thursday night and Thursday Night Football. Had no business beating them, right? They had no business. But Mother Nature came out. The snow came down, and that helped them in a tremendous amount of ways. Some luck happened as well, and they come out of that game winning a game. But how many times have you watched a soccer game where the team that was better loses?
I've seen it. I've been around this game since I was a youth player, elementary school age in the late 70s. I've seen it 1,000 times where a team completely dominates possession, outshoots, outcorners the opposition, but they lose 1-0 or 2-1 because you can sit back in that defensive shell, look for that counterattack, but you might get two good chances on set pieces, maybe a penalty kick, maybe a free kick outside the box where you convert those two chances. You win 2-1, the other team collects 25 shots and 18 on frame, and they can't find the way to get the ball in the back of the net.
No question. Linnell McElhannon is cheering on from Hawaii. I don't know about you, Dan. I know there was a GoFundMe there. Someone was saying we should get for us to go to Arizona. I'm resetting that GoFundMe. It's for Hawaii.
All right.
It is not for Arizona. No offense to all of you that live in Arizona. I'd much rather go to Hawaii. Hey, we got second half kickoff coming up here right after this. You're watching the NAIA Women's Soccer Championships on the National Soccer Network.
Are you looking to play at the next level? MSN is now offering player recruitment videos. We are excited to partner with you and your family in getting you to the next level. To learn more about our packages and what we offer, head over to the MichiganSoccerNetwork.com. Remember, your journey starts with a click.
I'm a husband. I'm a father.
I'm a sister.
I'm a son. I'm a brother.
I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a referee.
I'm a referee.
I am a referee.
I'm a referee.
Welcome back here into our press box here. Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Stickred. And Dan, it's a beautiful day here. It's a beautiful sunny day here in our press box.
We had a little bit of rain and snow this week, but other than that, the last 3 months of the soccer season at the collegiate, high school, and club level, we've been very blessed throughout the state of Michigan, really across the Midwest. But today, Concordia, Nebraska has not been blessed. They need to find a way to generate offense. You know, they have one of the leading goal scorers in the country, and Kirsten Garner, the Kearney, Nebraska product, 22 goals, 13 assists, 57 points on the season, and the Bulldogs struggle to get the ball up top to her. They must find a way to generate offense. They're down 3-0 to a team that has not given up more than one goal in a single game this season. AQUINAS College has 12 shutouts in 18 games, and they're 45 minutes away from advancing to the round of 16 unless their guests from Concordia can find a way to get some, turn that donut up in the scoreboard into some goals.
So, question coming in here from Anuncia McMillan saying, can someone explain this, the soccer versus everybody mantra? The Olathe residents don't understand. Well, let's talk about this for a second. We're going to put it on your screen. There it is. So here in Michigan, if you ever grew up in Michigan or knew anything about Michigan, there has been this slogan about Detroit versus everybody. There's also been a Lions versus everybody as well. And really what that implores, or it was basically saying, is that everybody is against the city of Detroit, and that's what it meant. And now everybody, to be fair, if you start talking about soccer in the United States and where it is in the hierarchy of all the sports, where would soccer be? Now, we know where it is as far as popularity amongst the younger kids, right? And that, I think it's number one, the fastest growing sport in the country still from that regard. But if you start talking about where it is in the hierarchy of professional sports, football obviously is number one. You've got basketball, baseball, you've got hockey. Somewhere between 4 and 5 is where soccer would fit in, and that to me is where the soccer versus everybody is. You know what I mean? That to me is us saying, hey, are we really all in favor of soccer or not? And if you look at it from a societal standpoint, no. And with the World Cup right around the corner here in 2026, and how far we are right now as a U.S. men's national team from even coming close to winning a World Cup, we are truly versus everybody. So
we've struggled in recent years even to qualify for the World Cup. We missed out on a couple of occasions, a couple of Olympics we did not qualify a team in. So that concept in soccer I think is very fitting, but we're just 5 weeks away from Christmas now. I did get an email from Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, and Rudolph. They've already purchased their order for the family and friends, so soccer versus everybody will make it some great, Christmas gift, maybe a T-shirt for the stocking stuffer. Just throwing that out there.
That is true. And yes, there is a small MSN logo on the left-hand sleeve. That way, at least you know you're supporting MSN. Along the way, that'll actually end up being NSN here coming in January. But that is the explanation as we can give it to you here in regards to soccer versus everybody. Remember, this broadcast is brought to you by Robinson's Popcorn. To learn more about Robinson's Popcorn, head over to robinsonspopcorn.com. We'll continue to talk about them here throughout this game. And again, get your Popalicious popcorn now, all the different flavors. We're back underway here at Aquinas Soccer Field. Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Stickrat. And it is a beautiful, cold day here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I say beautiful very lightly. Maybe it should be Michigan versus the weather, Dan. Maybe that's what they should say. We should change this.
Michigan weather versus everybody? Now we're talking.
There we go. It's 43 degrees. It's cloudy. It feels like 37. And it is perfect fall weather here in Michigan. Is Concordia in their blue kits going right to left on your screen. Aquinas in their white kits going left to right. And you're very welcome there, Anusia McMillan. Let's see here. Anusia McMillan also GoFundMe for Jonathan and Dan to go to Hawaii. You know what? Yes. I mean, we don't support anything as far as we don't need anyone to give us any money for anything. We were just joking. It was something in the comments section earlier that I felt like I needed.
But if you want to feel generous.
But if you want to help send us to Hawaii, that would be.
There are even some like great tournaments in collegiate and club and amateur soccer. We've had contracts. We spent 2 years going out to Leesburg, Virginia for the UPSL men's soccer Final Four. It's a 9-hour drive here from the Metro Detroit area where our home office is located in Shelby Township, Michigan. But it's kind of fun sometimes to pack up the gear and head out to different locations around the country to be able to broadcast some, high-quality soccer games. But would we ever be able to broadcast a game and be on site in the state of Hawaii?
That would be great. Well, like this, loose ball now shot from distance just outside the 18, but right into the hands of the goalkeeper and Angela Banks.
It's the third save of the afternoon for Banks. And Aquinas 10-1 in total shots at this stage, and 6-1 with shots on target. Banks has stopped 3 of the 6 shots. Aquinas is through her way. But offensively, the Bulldogs in Nebraska, they have to find a way to generate any type of offense to be able to find a way to back into this contest. They're down 3-0 here, just 2.5 minutes into the second half.
Question I have is, did Concordia make the drive, or was this ball shot in, and Banks makes a save? Still loose inside the 18. Ruiz will now try and clear it up towards midfield. Put right back in the mix. The question I was going to ask is, did Concordia drive and make a bus trip, or was this would they hop on a plane? It's a 10-hour 2-minute drive, 702 miles via I-80 east. So I'm just curious if they made the drive or they flew.
Give or take maybe a construction zone or two, or maybe a couple of state troopers along the way. But
well, if you're taking a bus, though, Dan,
you're not going to get a speeding ticket in a chartered bus from a college. But at the NEI level, I don't think very many schools have the budgets to hop on planes. I'm not saying it doesn't happen on occasion, but these are generally smaller schools. You look at NCAA Division II, Division III, NAIA, National Junior College, the National Christian College, whatever level of collegiate sports you're talking about, you have to look at the budgets of some of these schools, what they're able to afford, what they're not able to afford. But regardless, these two teams have made their way into the round of 32 in the NAIA tournament. Bus, train, plane, it doesn't matter, but they're here on the pitch representing their schools, representing their hometowns, their home states.
According to Caroline Kemper, they did, in fact, drive. That's a long drive. Even in a bus, I mean, it says 10 hours. That's via car, but in a bus, I'd imagine you're going to add at least another hour, maybe 2 hours in. As this ball is put into the top of the 18. Good defensive play there by Concordia, and that's cleared away.
National Championship outlook. Congratulations to Delta College up there in the Saginaw Bay City area of Michigan. National Junior College Athletic Association Division III national champions. And then in the National Christian College Athletic Association. Great Lakes Christian College out of the Grand Rapids area plays Bob Jones University out of Greenville, South Carolina tonight in Kissimmee, Florida for the Division II National Championship on the women's side. So a lot of teams across the state of Michigan doing well at the collegiate side at different levels of the soccer pyramid.
Now, the next part of this is, you start talking, we talked about obviously coaching in regards to Concordia, but now you start talking about what James DeCosmo and what he has to do here in these final 40 minutes of this game. And Dan, we talk about the method or the methodology now for him and how he wants to attack the rest of this game is, all right, go against their goal, and then you're going to start sitting some players. Look at this ball now into the 18, looking for number 26 in Savannah Reese. Because, again, right now it's about staying healthy. It's about making sure you don't have any players getting any type of yellow cards or things that could get them in a situation where they don't get a chance to play in that next game. So right now for him, it's about managing the roster as it is about managing the game.
Yeah, I would agree to an extent. Obviously, you want to keep your starters in for a while, but at this stage, if the Bulldogs cannot generate minutes, you're looking. They have a very deep team to begin with, around 30 players on their roster, and we have 15 different players that have scored goals, 15 different players have drew at least one assist, 8 players, 11 more points. You're looking at a very balanced, very deep team, and they can afford to set some of these starters in the second half as it moves along, get a lot more playing time, get some younger kids experience of playing in an NAIA national tournament game. You're looking at this game so far, we're about 6 minutes and change into the second half, and Aquinas College come out, and they're still controlling possession.
Ball makes its way out as that was intended for a build. Again, she's got a brace on the afternoon. It's a good turn by Sydney Shank. She's down by the end line, looking to slot this into the 18. Makes his way knocked back to build. And good work by Ruiz. She'll play it up this near side, looking for a target, and one back by the Saints. Good work is Bowling. Ball does go out, though. See a substitution coming in here for Concordia. Kiana Rios from Omaha, Nebraska. Went to Omaha South High School. A freshman, 5'4" midfielder. Makes her way onto the pitch. Ball in from Build into the 18, right towards the penalty spot. Settled down, at least tried to by Reese.
The one thing defensively I'd like to point out, in terms of Concordia, they have not conceded a ton of free kicks. They've only given up one corner kick to Aquinas College. Only had 2 fouls whistled against them in the first half. So, the Saints have, the benefactor a lot of corner kicks and free kicks within like 30 or 40 yards of the goal this season. They're able to score a lot of goals off volleys, off headers, maybe, goal mile scrums. They got a lot of players that have the ability to finish, but Concordia has at least done a very good job of nullifying a lot of those potential chances.
As Build now take a shot, slots it in, and Shank puts the 4th goal in for the Saints. It's 4-0.
So Shank had the 2nd and 3rd assists. And a Build had the 1st and 3rd goals. Now it is Shank with her 1st goal of the game, 52-55 mark. They're up 4-0. It's a commanding 4-0 advantage. They have yet to concede a shot on frame, and this is just a perfectly slotted ball in traffic, right to about the 6-yard line. Sydney Shank was there at the doorstep to knock it home, so Aquinas College up comfortably 4-0 here. So now crossed into the 54th minute. This is the NAIA round of 32.
Just like that, it's 4-0. And again, I was just talking about this. Is this now where James DeCosmo, is he going to say, okay, now's the time, right? Because again, I have seen it before, Dan. We've seen it before. I've called national championship games where we've seen a team down 3-0 at halftime, and they found a way. And we can make an argument about whether or not Concordia has the firepower, but they've got players who scored goals on their roster. You've got players Gardner scored 22 goals this season, so they have players that can score goals. That 4th goal, though, That's the tough one.
That could be a backbreaker.
Yeah, that. I mean, because again, now four goals is a tall order. I mean, again, against this Aquinas Saints side that's not conceded a lot of goals this season. But again, I think now is the time for the Cosmo to, okay, you know what, when this is where we got to start pulling some players off, because again, the argument becomes, we've talked about even from the standpoint of locally here in Michigan with Detroit Lions, how we lost Aiden Hutchinson in the fourth quarter, and when they're up by 30 points, and do you need to keep doing that? And while I understand the mentality is you want to keep your team out in the field, the one that gives you the best chance to win and keep consistency and quality, but this is a chance now to take a number of your players who have no experience in this environment, get them out there, get them some minutes.
You might have some freshmen and sophomores that either were still in high school or didn't get a lot of playing time last year. This is a great opportunity, again, to get them some game experience. You don't necessarily take off your starting 11, but you want to get some players. And they have some very capable players off their bench. So a lot of players have contributed in different ways throughout the course of the last 3 months.
8 of their 11 starters are upperclassmen, so juniors or seniors, right? So, and you're looking at how many seniors. I mean, they've got 5 seniors. 6 seniors in their starting 11. So is now this ball in to build, and that should look to play this one. Actually hits off the defender, number 31 in Trinity Rowe, and makes his way out for a corner kick.
This is just the second corner kick of the match coming up for Aquinas College. First of the second half. They've been a benefactor of a lot of these corners and set pieces throughout the course of the season, and if they can find a way to, add a 5th goal here, that would definitely force Cosmo's hand of maybe putting a lot of players off the bench into this game.
So Bill will play this one in. It's not a bad ball. Good, well-driven ball towards that back post, and out it will go. David Mayer says 4th goal was nice, unmarked player to finish. Yeah, I mean, again, you got a player in build who's dribbling, again, dribbling in the 18 and going towards that near post. You're going to oftentimes see players kind of shift over, try to stop that pressure.
But you look at the stage of this game, build 2 goals and assists. Savannah Reese has a goal. Sydney Shank, a goal and 2 assists. And even Maeva Lichtensteiger, their leading goal scorer, she had the assist in the first goal. Now, she hasn't had a chance to get a lot of great scoring opportunities. They have marked her tight in this game, but that's what the balance and the depth kind of checks in for Aquinas College. They have a multitude of players in that attack that can finish, create opportunities for others. And on the flip side of the coin, Concordia has just struggled getting the ball in the final third of the field. They're down 4-0, and their leading goal scorer, Kirsten Garner, 22 goals, 13 assists. She's hasn't touched the ball very many times throughout the course of this contest, and we're now, in about the 58th minute.
We keep having, I think, a number of. This is not the first time. This is maybe the second or third time we've seen in the comments about offside on that first goal. And if you go back, and I'm obviously if you're watching this game on YouTube, you can do this. I don't know if you can do it on Roku or not. You might be able to, as far as going back in real time, as Bill will play this one into the box towards Shank. Bank got a touch on it. Ball still loose. It's still loose inside the 18. Now it's just outside to Reese. She'll look to cut inside, but she'll almost take down Ruiz on her way towards goal. But I would tell you is go back and look at, and this is when it actually happens, the actual clock shows 1:16, I think 14. You want to freeze it as the ball is being kicked, and just based on what I'm seeing from here, the player looks to be onside. So, and this is coming from a commentator and myself who's been an official or was an official for over 20 years. Refereed a lot of these types of games at this level, and so I'm not saying I'm looking to argue. Look, this is an opportunity now. Is inside the 18, the ball played back to Shook. Concordia had a good counter there and seeing some pressure. We have not seen them in the attacking third much at all in this game. As this ball is shot in, that's a shot right on frame. Shot coming in from Marosa Gilliswan. But if I go back to that offside call again, or not, sorry, the goal, not offside call, the player looks to be onside. So just looking at that. And you're correct, the angle does in fact matter. But just looking at the angle from here, it looks to be pretty close to being, at least from this perspective, onside. So, but either way.
That was the first save of the game for Kayla Shook, a junior from North Farmington High School, just north of Detroit, Michigan. Her father, Jeff Shook, a longtime club, high school, and amateur soccer coach here throughout the state of Michigan. Kind of a goalkeeping family, a soccer family. Had a chance to talk to her again at the end of July about her play at the amateur level, or play in the last couple of years with Aquinas College, and she was really excited about the possibilities here in 2024. Her team has kind of lived up to expectations. Conference champions, conference tournament champions in the WAC, undefeated at this point of the season. They're up 4-0 here in this round of 32, and they're about a half an hour away from advancing to the Sweet 16 of the NAIA tournament. So Kayla Shook and Aquinas College has kind of been a season of dreams to see if they can make a run to that elusive Final Four.
There's now Probst will fire a shot right in to the hands of Banks. Sam Long says, been a very negative from the broadcast announcers. It started before the game even played. I don't know if I would agree with you on that. Now, if you want me to say I'm being honest, we've been honest. We could say that. I don't think I would use the word negative, and that might be the way you take it. And we apologize if that's how you are listening to what we are saying. But again, the score is 4-0, and we've tried to find a way to, at least from our perspective, on a team that we haven't seen this season, find out a way. Maybe, what was the thought process, maybe in the game plan coming into this one? We were talking about facing off against a team that is as good as Aquinas is, and that was really where our take has come. But if you feel like we're being negative, we apologize for that. That's not our goal. But regardless, because we could be here and we could fluff it up. We could talk about, the game in a different way, but that's not the goal. Our goal is to be, hey, this our plan, at least in my perspective, is to always kind of be a breath of fresh air in regards to the game of soccer and talk about the nuances of this game. As a former coach and player and referee, I have just different insights. Dan, you've been covering the game of soccer for over 30 years here in the state of Michigan. And to be fair, other than us knowing James DeCosmo, we don't know much about Aquinas other than the players who we've had a chance to see them play at different levels in USLW and UWS and WPSL over the last number of years. So, but yeah, I think like anything else, if this game was 1-0 right now, we would not be having this conversation.
No, we talked in the pregame. We talked about what a team playing a lot of confidence. Concordia, Nebraska, 11-1 in their previous 12 games. They've had 9 shutouts, average 2.4.
Look at this ball over the top, though, running onto this now and looking for a shot, and that's a save by Shook. Kirsten Garner with her first chance of the game, almost finding a way to put one in the back of the net to make it 4-1, but Shook standing tall.
It's probably the best scoring opportunity of the afternoon for the Bulldogs. They're trying to find a way to get that donut into at least one goal. We talked about that in the first half. You're not down 4-0. You have to take it one goal at a time to get back into this contest. I've seen teams do it. I started playing soccer as a 6-year-old back in 1978. I've been sitting in press boxes, writing or calling games for over 3 decades, and I've seen teams come back. I've seen teams up comfortably 3-0 in high school and collegiate soccer, amateur soccer, and they cannot hold on. So anything is possible. Get a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. You get that first goal, that confidence starts to, come back, that swagger can come back. And, strange things can happen in not just soccer, really any sport. Like in basketball, you're down 20. It's early in the second half. You get a couple of quick 3-pointers, trimmed to the 14. All of a sudden, the crowd starts to get behind you. You get another 3. You get a steal and a dunk. Next thing you know, you're down by 7, and only 3 minutes have chipped off that scoreboard. So things can happen. Comebacks can happen in any sport at any time. Could it happen here today? We'll know in the next 26 minutes and change. But anything is possible in the arena of sports.
Yeah, and especially in soccer, and again, we can talk about it all day long. It's the first time in the history of the Bulldogs program that they've ever won an NAIA tournament game. They did this past week against Benedictine. It's an amazing moment for that school. And coming into this game, they had nothing to lose, nothing to lose. And that, to be fair, those are the most dangerous teams in sports when you've got nothing to lose. And I saw it 2 weeks ago. We saw it with Oak University and Robert Morris. Robert Morris had no business beating Oak University at all. Zero business. Robert Morris, while they might have been a good team overall, and they were the second seed in the Horizon League Championship, Oak University, top to bottom, was a way better talented team. Top to bottom. They were missing their back line defender in Jack Townsend, but top to bottom, solid team. But somehow Robert Morris finds a way in the 8th minute of that first half, a goal coming from a guy that had never scored a goal in his collegiate career ever, a defender, puts one top shelf behind the goalkeeper of the year in Alex Flowers, and they rode a wave for the next 72 minutes. 82 minutes, whatever it was.
They were even up a man 25 seconds into the second half, and Oakland still came at them in waves. Oakland actually dominated the play throughout the last, let's say, about 80 minutes of that contest. But the storylines, you have a right back, a wing back, who finds open space, chucks one in the upper 90 from 35 yards out, and your team holds on in the end. So you look at, again, anything can happen in the arena of sports. That was that an upset? A slight upset. Upsets happen. Absolutely. I think that's why sports fans are so gravitated towards bracketed sports. We're so attracted to the NCAA tournament and different levels of college basketball for men's and women's. We love those upsets. We love to see those types of things where teams you don't expect to come out of nowhere. I mean, how many times in the last 20 years in the NCAA Division I men's basketball team have we seen a Final Four team that was an 8, 9, 10, or 11 seed? It happens.
No,
are they a top 4 team in the country? No, but they were hot for 2 weeks to get there because they just found the way to get the job done.
And I think it's important to say this, too. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you win a game. You got to win. So, and one of the things, too, is this ball's played over the top looking for Garner once again. She'll take a spill. I say this a lot when it comes to mid-majors taking on, Power 5 schools, right? Happened again. I talked about it on Thursday. I was there. Robert Morris, Horizon League mid-major taking on a Power 5 school, and University of Michigan plays in the Big Ten. Okay, the schools that Michigan sees every single season are by far and large way better than whatever Robert Morris is playing in conference. Period. End of discussion. I don't have to say anything more than that. That's how that is. The proof is in the pudding. Now, take that away, is that in order for Robert Morris to have won on Thursday, Michigan would have had one of their worst games, and Robert Morris would have had to have one of their best games. Last year, Kentucky lost to Oak University in March Madness. What happened? Kentucky had a terrible day. And Oakland, look at this turn now. Lichtensteiger, she's in the 18. They had to have their best day. So when that happens, things can happen. And when I say their best day, again, in order for Concordia to come into this game on the home field of Aquinas, a team that has not allowed more than 6 goals scored the entire campaign this season, and have scored 83, now is obviously way more than that. It's 87 goals so far in the season. You would have had to come in and had 6 players playing in the back line the entire game. Maybe even having 5 across the back, 1 in the middle, more of a stopper, and play that way. Almost like a 5-1-3-1. It sounds crazy, but that's what you'd have to do. This ball is played in, and it's going to go out for a corner. If you play that way and just really kind of pack it in, you're going to frustrate Aquinas, who probably for the most of the season had not seen that. They have not seen that kind of style of play. And if they have, they've found their most frustration. We saw against Uno. Uno scored a goal against them to tie it up.
And Uno had a few other chances.
Yeah.
They didn't have a ton, but they had the ability to get the ball downfield inside the box.
This ball comes in now off the corner and into the 18. It's going to make its way out towards top of the 18, push right back out to where it came from in Lichtensteiger. She'll put it back in low, and one back now by Concordia, and they'll look to play this up towards midfield.
You look at college sports, Jonathan, and some of the people watching this game comment on this. When it comes to college sports, you have the brackets, field of 68, 64, 48, 32, whatever sport, whatever case it is. People love the underdog story. You know, you look at some of the first-round upsets in collegiate sports, and the sport is irrelevant, but you'll have like kind of like a game that's going to follow your game in an arena, like a neutral site, and the underdog makes a comeback. Next, it's a basketball game. It's tied with 2 minutes left. The fans from the other game that have come into the arena, they're rooting for the underdog. They're rooting for the upset.
Yeah.
You see that a lot, and teams can get that little bit of extra boost of energy to be able to come back, whether that's a soccer game, a softball, a basketball game, a lacrosse match. It doesn't necessarily matter, but you can feed off that energy, so to speak, inside of a stadium or arena and be able to come back on a team.
It's great. Grace Sims says Vandy beating FSU, 100%.
Yeah.
Florida State was the #1 seed, and they lost in a shootout to Vanderbilt. So yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So, again, I as someone who's done this now way too many times. I'll look at this now on the far side. Here comes Concordia. Got Ruiz making that run up. Sorry, that was actually Mares making the run up on that far side. It was good work by Sierra Springer trying to put one back across. I'll finish my thought here in a moment. Is that settled down by Garner. A little heavy first touch from her. And this one sent up back towards midfield. I've done this 1,500 times. I've called games, MAC Women's Championship games for ESPN. I just did a game with Dean Linke, at Michigan on Thursday. And just my resume as far as games, 1,500 games I've called here in the last 4 years. I'm going to be honest with you about what I see, and that's not meant to be negative. It's not meant to be anything other than, hey, let's find a way to highlight the game. These young ladies deserve. These young ladies on this field here, and to be fair, anyone that plays soccer deserves a chance to have their name called by our platform, by any platform for that matter. So we take it as great honor to be able to do this for these players as Mares will play this ball on that far side. And that's really what this is all about. It's about highlighting these players and ultimately having a chance to talk about them and give them an opportunity to have, their name and even their family, involved in the broadcast, because that's the fun part about what we do is that if this game, and I call games on ESPN, I cannot have the interaction with you, the crowd, like I do on here on YouTube, like on ESPN. I just can't do it. It's not even a possibility. So, but the way we have about 19 minutes to go, as we'll see Build come back on.
Aquinas said they've been rotating quite a few players here in the second half, getting some fresh legs in and out of the game.
And I'm hopeful that, that you'll want to come back and tune in for more. I'd love to have the opportunity to cover the games in Pensacola, Florida. We do games all over the country. We're right now live in our studios in Shelby Township. That's where Dan and I are sitting right now. We are not in Grand Rapids, Michigan. This ball is played into the 18, and that one goes just past Shank into the hands of Banks. You're nice and comfortable and cozy.
The Bulldogs defense kind of clamped down on that slotted pass into the middle of the box. Where in the first half, Aquinas was able to get a foot on that, tuck a shot on frame, even they had a couple of close-range goals in the first 45 minutes. So a better job defensively here in the second half overall for Concordia. And they've been able to generate at least a couple of shots on target here. They have 2 shots and 2 shots on goal in the second half. And time is not on their side. We're down inside about 18 minutes left in this second half.
Shane tried to cut it inside, and that one's cleared up towards Garner, but one back by the Saints and Avery Tack. We appreciate you stopping by wherever you're watching near and far. Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Stickrad here on this Saturday afternoon, the 23rd of November. Lichtensteiger looked to fire one from distance. The leading scorer for this Saints side has yet to score a goal in this one. She does have 1 assist. 16 assists on the season, 17 goals for her. Actually, she's now tied with Shank for 17 goals because Shank scored a goal the fourth goal here. Back in the 54th minute, and a free kick coming up here for the Saints. So opportunity for them.
It's just the fourth foul of the entire match against Concordia. Puts the Saints in great position here, not that far out of the box, maybe about close to 30 yards out, right of center. You put this on target, you're going to serve this into the 6, make a couple players make that run towards the 6-yard line and try to volley or get ahead on this opportunity. The Saints have been very dangerous on set pieces throughout the course of the 2024 campaign.
A build will put this one back in. 3-man wall. She'll put it towards that back post. Banks goes up right into her hands. She'll make the grab. Banks been very good in this game. Again, you can't look at any of those goals and say any of those are her fault.
Banks did a great job of coming off her line on that particular set piece by Aquinas. Ball is kind of bending away from the framework. Aquinas had 2 or 3 players within about a yard or two of that ball. If she doesn't come off her line and corral that, Aquinas player could have got a headache, and it could have been a 5th goal. So great defensive effort on that play by Angela Banks, the goalkeeper from Concordia.
This ball played back into the 18 off that free kick, and it might go out for a corner. It does.
Corner kick number 4 in the match for Aquinas College, 3rd of the second half. About 15 minutes left in the second half of this NEIA women's soccer round of 32 match. Grand Rapids, Michigan is the place. Again, this game is being broadcasted on both our Michigan Soccer Network and National Soccer Network platforms.
So Bill will put this one back in off the corner, headed away by the Bulldogs. One back now by the Bulldogs. Garner up that far side. To cut it inside, and Lichtensteiger was right there, and she'll knock it away. You talk about how Concordia got here, right? And we talked about how obviously in the Great Plains Conference, they went 8-3 in that conference. That Benedictine game here this past week, again, getting themselves into the NAIA tournament and then facing off against Benedictine. They won that game 2-0, I believe, right, against Benedictine here this past Thursday. Angela Banks having a big game along with their defense to hold them off and give themselves their first ever round 2 appearance in program history. 28 years this program has been in existence. Getting here in itself is a tremendous accomplishment in its own right. And again, you'd have to imagine Coach Smith in his 2nd season at the helm has this team rolling in the right direction. As a free kick coming up here for the Bulldogs. You know, it just like anything else, right? It takes moments, right? Every game comes down to moments. And because you think about this, it's a 90-minute game, and there are a lot of things that happen, but there's big moments and there are small moments. And what you can take away from this, if you're Concordia, is the experience of traveling to a game like this, playing in an environment like this, learning from this. What can they learn from this so that next year they have a more successful year? They can get to maybe the 3rd round, right? Get to the round of 16. Maybe come in here against a team like this or other teams very similar and find more success. That's what you're looking to accomplish out of this game now as this ball makes its way down. Stuzinski trying to cut it inside. Great defensive play.
Yeah, because you're looking at their opponent, Aquinas, and again, they have 6 senior starters. 6 players will be gone from this roster. There's a lot of teams across the country at all levels of the collegiate soccer pyramid that will lose some big-time players to graduation, or to the transfer portal for that matter. So if you are a team like Concordia, this is the first time you've been in the round of 32, you should be able to learn, because if you are good enough next year to make it back in the tournament, you might learn a few things about some tactical choices, some technical choices. How to plan for games. Maybe you'll have a better record and you're not on the road for 10 or 11 hours in a charter bus, but you are hosting a 1st or 2nd round game. There's a lot of things that could happen.
Look at this ball now. Shank will take a shot. Banks with a diving save. Angela Banks diving to her left. Fantastic save from her, showing why her and that back line have been so big this season for the Bulldogs.
That's Banks' 6th shot stop of the day. 6 saves. There's been a few chances where Aquinas could have kind of padded their lead a little bit here in the second half. Banks has been there to keep this game just 4-0. So she's done her job. Really all 4 of the goals that the Bulldogs have conceded weren't necessarily the fault of the goalkeeper in Banks. She's done a great job here this afternoon. I think it's just one of those cases where we have a very senior-laden, very talented and deep team in Aquinas College that's just been able to finish on just about everybody. Again, they only had one game where they didn't score. They rested most of their starters in that game back in the end of October. But Aquinas averages 4.56 goals a game.
This ball played in towards that back post. Good ball in by Sluzinski. It just couldn't make its way to her. I think it was Shank that it was earmarked for. All played up now and looking for Garner. And they're playing one up top right now, more of like a 4-5-1. I think they're still playing 4 in the back is the Bulldogs. Garner now in this corner. We apologize for the wood in your way. We did not make the press box here at Aquinas Soccer Field. We did not build it. So if there's a piece of wood in the way, we do apologize for that.
That's funny. You bring up press boxes. So I've had the pleasure of covering a multitude of sports, high school, college, amateur, around the state of Michigan, even in different parts of the country. And sometimes you'll go to a high school in the press box, the amenities, just the whole campus looks more like a large college than a high school. And then sometimes you'll go to like an NCAA Division I school, and their amenities for like soccer and baseball and softball are what you would consider subpar for a Division I college. So it's different at all levels. I mean, there are some small schools out there have great arenas. They'll have great soccer facilities. They'll have great baseball and softball facilities.
So the Bulldogs on the ball looking for Garner, and it's cleaned up by that Saints back line, a very strong back line that's been so good this entire season. And as they make their way into the round of 16 here down in Pensacola, Florida, you just have to wonder is who is going to have the power to get past this defense. Is good work. Now top of the box now for Probst, and it's blocked on its way towards goal, and it will make its way to Banks.
A minute ago, Aquinas College got the ball in the backfield pretty early, but Avery Tack, we'll give her an example. She used to play at Grand Valley State, an NCAA Division II national powerhouse. She grew up. She went to Grand Rapids Forest Hill Central. Part of her high school career was spent with Midwest United ECNL team, one of the highest levels of club soccer for youth girls growing up. So she's played at high levels throughout her whole career. And she's playing on a back line of a very talented NAIA school. And I make reference to that because, marking backs don't get a lot of praise to begin with in any level of soccer. But you're looking at a highly skilled, very decorated player on the backfield. And it kind of shows that they do not give up very many chances. In this game, Concordia's had 3 shot attempts, one from 35 yards out that was over the framework about 15 minutes in the game. They've had 2 shots and 2 shots on frame in the second half, but they haven't had any corner kicks. So they are playing against one of the best, well-organized defensive back lines in the nation in Aquinas College. And then Kayla Shook, when she doesn't have to make a ton of saves in some of her games, but she's had to make 2, quality stops here today. They're just a very difficult team to play against because you're not just worried about their ways of attack and a lot of players that can, put the ball in the back of the net, but you are worried as an opponent of Aquinas College trying to find avenues to at least get off a shot. The Saints just do not concede very many chances, and they haven't done so all season long. I mean, going into this game, they outshot the opposition 540 to 96.
Holy moly. And Dan, you hit it right in the head. I mean, we talk about this a lot. We cover a lot of high school soccer and youth soccer here around this country, and we talk about, like, we just here recently here in Michigan, as the clock will come to a stop here, the ball goes out, so on a substitution. But, and that clock comes to a stop. But my point, though, Dan, was that we saw a Rochester Adams side who, top to bottom, there was not another team in the state of Michigan, I don't care what division, that could match up against the talent, the starting 11 on that team. And, and when you start talking about firepower, okay, what does a team wish they had? Every team wishes that they had a player that knew how to score goals in buckets, right? Every team would love that, right? I mean,
pure goal scorers sometimes are hard to come by.
They're the hardest thing to come by. You look at this and look at Concordia, for example. Again, we talked about this. And Kirsten Garner, she's got 22 goals this season, okay? Then below that, there's a player, Savannah Andrew has 8. Marosa Gillenswan has 4. Kiana Rios has 4. I mean, there's a lot of players that have goals, okay? You go over and look at Aquinas. Lichtensteiger, 17 goals. Sydney Schenk now has 17 goals. Madison Slawinski has 11 goals. Marie-Louise Abild has now 10 goals, right? You think about it again. And Olivia Bowling, 9 goals. Emily Gignac has 2. I mean, we can go on and on how many players have goals. They've scored collectively 87 goals this season, or 86 goals. You just can't. I mean, that's unbelievable. And so you're talking about defensively. What do you do? Are you going to man mark someone? I mean, what are you going to do? So you can't man mark 7 players. It just isn't possible to be effective and to go out and win soccer games, right? Because when you start talking about how you're going to defend players, I can tell you that if you only have 2 or 3 players to worry about, that's way different than having to worry about 7. So,
yeah, right. And we talked about that at the half and before the game. Aquinas has had 15 different players get at least 1 point. They have 8 players, 11 or more points. They have a lot of players that can finish or set up goals. So, the opposition, no one's really been able to solve that riddle.
No,
for the most part, they have.
Look at this ball though, and for Garner, and she might get there. She does. It's 1 versus 3 though, so she's got some work to do, but she'll be held up. It's good physical play from Aquinas and the Saints. Ball makes its way out to number 8 in Savannah Andrews, and she played it looking for Garner. But no, again, it's one of those things where it's a tall order, and that's why I said this at the beginning of the match, and again about the game plan coming into this one, and it's one of those things where it's tough because it's almost like you're waving the flag, right? And I promise you, I don't care if who's watching this right now, who's listening in, but coaches and parents, and it is not waving the white flag by saying I'm going to pack it in and try and play the transitional game in this game of soccer. It's not a negative thing. It's what's going to give you the best chance to win. You can't play 90 minutes against the Saints straight up. You just can't do it. You can't go out there playing if you're used to playing a 4-3-3 all season long, you can't play that way against the Saints. You just can't. Play a 3-6-1. You can do a 3-5-2. I mean, to be fair, I would have played in this scenario. I would have been playing a 4-5-1. I would have had, and I think they're playing that right now. I would have legitimately had two holding midfielders right in the middle of the park, and their job all day long is to stay home. They're not getting forward at all. They're not getting forward. Their job is to stay home. So you're defending really with 6, right? So you're having basically two 6s they're not pivoting. They're staying right where they need to be, and then you're gonna attack in 4. So you're gonna do, and you're gonna put Gardner up top at the 9. That's where she's playing right now at the 9, and she's gonna play high. And her whole job is to just wait for balls to go over the top. That's what she's doing. And you're hoping that by doing that, you're going to get fouled along the way and get a free kick. You're going to get some corner kicks out of it and some set pieces that you can then turn into opportunities. So I know that a lot of the fans out there want to see their team play. Well, we're going to go play them straight up. You can't do that. You just can't do it. And Garner now up that far side, met by the Saints defender and Segovia, and Garner now will be called for the foul, but that's how you play this game.
And 2 weeks ago in the WAC semifinals, Nora Drury, one of our broadcast members, called a game where Lourdes University out of the Toledo, Ohio area, they came up to Grand Rapids. They played Aquinas in the WAC semis. Now, Lourdes had a very good overall record. They had only given up, I think, 11 goals in the season at that time. And they recognize how many talented offensive players Aquinas had on the pitch. And they recognize the depth and the multitude of players that can finish. So they played an extra one or two extra defenders in the back, look for those counterattacks. Now, they didn't have a ton of chances. They ended up losing to Aquinas 2-0, but they at least put enough defenders back there to kind of slow down that attack, frustrated Aquinas a little bit. But, being down 2-0 is more manageable than being down 4, 5, or 6-0 in a particular game. Now, this game, inside the last couple of minutes, is 4-0, so in all intents and purposes, the game's been decided. But Aquinas was able to score 5:09 into the contest to kind of set the tone. By 13.5 minutes in, it was 2-0, and 20.5 minutes in, it was 3-0.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. And look at this opportunity now as the ball slotted in towards Garner. And it's a good idea, though, from Andrews, just a little more pace on that ball. I just think that the average fan or the parents, like, well, we want to play. But if you have to understand that what's in front of you, you traveled 10 hours to get to this game via bus. You've worked your tail off, and the goal is to survive and move on. That's the plan. The plan is to survive and move on.
Survive and advance.
So how do you do that? Well, if you're talking about playing tomorrow, in order to do that, you have to sit in. You have to sit in. You have to be a disruptor. You have to be frustrating. Frustrating is the word to use. You have to frustrate Aquinas. And if you can do that for long enough, it gives you a chance to win the game. But again, it is what it is, and Concordia's had a great season. This will not be a blemish for them. This will be an opportunity for them to go, let's say, hey, what we got here, now how do we get back?
Right.
Let's not make it 28 years again. Let's make it a year. How do we get back?
Right. Their last 13 games, they'll have an 11-2 record. That is extremely respectable at any level of soccer, be able to do that. They had a slow start, but they gelled as a unit. They were able to win their first NAIA tournament game here a few days ago. That game, I believe, was also here at Aquinas, so they've been able to stay a couple days here. But they're going to bring back the experience of playing in a national tournament setting. They're going to bring back some very talented, very eager players here a year from now. They'll give them a couple days off, but they'll be back in the weight room. They'll be back in training sessions here sooner than later. Some of these kids will go up play for some amateur teams in the spring and summer after their spring semesters over in college. But the experiences are there. It's going to leave a little bit of thirst, a little bit of hunger for you coming back to be stronger next year.
As this game will officially come to an end, and Aquinas and the Saints are moving on to the round of 16. So they're going to head to Pensacola, Florida. Well, they will continue on here their magical run as they try to hoist a national championship trophy here on the 7th of December. So overall, good game here for the Saints and Concordia, who coming into this game, again, we talked about this, Dan, this is their first time ever into this second round of the NAIA tournament. Let's take a look here at the bracket. We'll put up the quarter bracket here where Aquinas will move on here and play. You'll see here, again, Concordia won 2-0 over Benedictine, Kansas here this past Thursday. Aquinas has moved on. They'll play at 7 o'clock here next weekend, the 2nd, and they'll take on the winner of Tennessee Southern or the Masters out of California. That'll be available through the NAIAs and their affiliation and distribution. So that's a look at the bracket. I'll take a look at the overall bracket now. I'll put that up on your screen. And there it is. We'll actually get some more. Let's go back out to the field because they're still enjoying some excitement here on the field there as they
showing the little mini bracket there on the cardboard.
Mini bracket as they continue to make they'll make their run here. And but we want to thank you for stopping by here on this Saturday afternoon. Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Stickrat. We'll bring you back into our press box here. There we are. Thank you very much. And but yeah, hey, to Concordia. Take this, learn from it, find a way to get back here again. Even, like I said, maybe even host one. That is the plan, right? That's the goal. And everything is about learning, right? The one thing I always told players is that I'm going to put you in challenging environments so that you can grow as a player and as an individual. And that's exactly what's going to happen in a game like this. These players are going to grow. They're going to learn. They're going to take the pain of this moment of not moving on and use that as the fuel the fire to get back to this exact spot, even go even further. But we want to thank all of you for stopping by and being a part of this here today. I want to thank our production team and Abby and Emmeline and Brianna. Stan Stick right here to my right. I'm Jonathan Turner. We'll be back at this again here next week. Got a lot more exciting things that we'll talk about. The MASL opening game coming here next Friday night on the National Soccer Network. We'll have more information about that coming up here later this week. Take a look here at the replays here. We'll end with replays, and we'll send it out of here. Here you go. Is the early going here. That ball played in by a Lichtensteiger getting past. That ends up being the eventual game winner. Welcome you back into our press boxes. There you go. We're still coming back out. Here we go. Yeah, we're just going to keep showing us. Why not, right? Why not? So, but anyways, we want to thank you for stopping by and being a part of this. That was the third goal in this game, scored back in the 22nd minute. And this is goal number 4. It was put in by Sydney Shank. And that'll wrap it up. The final score, one final time, 4-0 here from Aquinas Soccer Field. Have a great rest of your Saturday. So long, everybody.